Hey everybody, my name is John Gitti and I'm here with the Syracuse International Film Festival, and we are doing our 5-minute film talks. I am so excited for our first ever guest, JD Dillard. JD, how you doing?
What's up, man? Doing well. Thanks
So,
for having me.
JD, we're just really excited because we've had you with the festival a couple times come and do some film talks, and I just want to really quickly talk a little bit about how you got interested even in doing film.
So weirdly, I can pinpoint it to like a very specific thing. So mid-90s, there was a Discovery Channel show called Movie Magic. And this is like, in like the half generation before DVDs. So like we didn't have special features, we didn't have access to any of that. And I remember watching that and seeing like, all of the stuff on Jurassic Park and seeing the animatronics. And I was like, wait a minute. These are people's jobs. People do this for a living.
Right. Yeah.
And I don't even think I understood what within film I wanted to do. And honestly, I would say like my earliest interests are in like animatronics and then 3D animation. But it was that recognition that like this thing that I'd already loved, which was storytelling, could sort of meld together with this other
spark.
Yeah, absolutely. That like, oh, but this is another kind of storytelling, and people actually do that for a living.
That's, and there's always that moment that a lot of us have where we're watching something and it creates that moment where it's like, oh, wait, this is something that I can actually do.
Totally.
And a lot of those behind the scenes, there was one with The Lord of the Rings that I watched years ago where it's like, wow, there's so much more that goes into filmmaking.
Yeah, totally.
And you're a director, you're a writer, but as a creator, what do you see as the most important thing in the process of creating?
I mean, I'm a little biased. Yeah. It starts with the writing to me. As that's like my first love, my first craft, and still, I've spent more time in than directing. But it's like that's where it can be anything, and that's where you watch. You let it gestate, you let it grow, you let it evolve, and without any pressure or any influence, you can kind of let it like. Hit a dead end and then come back and realize that it's this, and then go outside and be inspired by something and realize like, oh, we need some of this, and it is like it's the part of the process where like every day it still could be anything.
Yeah.
At a certain point, you really have to like come down on some decisions. Like if I said every day it could be anything as a director, everybody would quit my set. I'm sure there are people that work that way, but for my personal process, not conducive to success. But yeah, it starts with the writing. I mean, it starts with just like the holistic building of a story and its characters and its places and its themes. I mean, that.
And how did you get started writing? Well, like, what was like the thing that made you go, let me try writing?
Weirdly, just writing as a whole, I've kind of never known not writing. Double negative. No, not writing. I've never known life without writing. There we go. I've never known life without that. So just like telling stories and writing little weird things and journals and, all of my assignments in school, I always wanted to be like the creative writing exercise. I always wanted it to be the short story, played with toys way too long because it was about, it like evolved from like mindless playing to like, this is a story that's occurring, and we have to play until the story is complete.
That's funny. Kevin Smith actually says that. He's like, this is, the greatest job in the world because we literally just play make-believe for a living.
That's it.
Yeah.
The toys are just like bigger and way more dangerous now. But still, like, you're still just like, at the end of the day, I mean, not to reduce acting to this at all, but I mean, just from a storytelling standpoint, it still just feels like you're just like taking your characters and playing toys.
Yeah, it completely does. There's so many people that are out there now who are thinking about doing this, or they're afraid to take that step. They're afraid to take that leap. Was there anybody who helped you get to that next point where you could say, I'm doing this, but you always need a hand up at the same time you're at the level you're at? Yeah,
I mean, I think it's a lot of people. I mean, in a way, it's family, like being behind you as you make decisions that like aren't entirely logical, but they in your heart feel right. There are properly having mentors. Like, I mean, I grew up working in and around Bad Robot, and that that company and community is filled with so many people who are like creative enablers. It's the friends that are down to like read your work and give you honest feedback, and without any ulterior motive, but wanting it to be better because you want it to be better. So help and assistance and mentorship come from so many different angles, and I feel like all that wrapped together is sort of what helps take the next step.
I gotta tell you, you are a fantastic talent. We are so lucky to have you. This has been our 5 minutes here. We're so glad that you guys were able to join us. JD, hopefully we get to do this again sometime,
Thanks
man.
for having me, man.
Thank you, guys. And have a great night. Or day.
Or day. Whatever time it is.